All right, cool. All right, so now we're doing the September OpenSLO meeting. So for our agenda today, wanted to go through the action items from last time, talk about alert policies. Since Rob is not here, we may or may not talk about incremental versus counter, but we can discuss that if you guys want. And then labels and annotations. So to start off, action items from last time, we actually don't have any. Nothing to review there. Oh, did you guys also have anything you wanted to add to the agenda before we get going?
I don't today. I'm still in learning mode.
Perfect.
No.
Okay. Alert policies, where you had something in one of the PRs you wanted to talk about. I noticed you said you were struggled a bit verbalizing the idea here, and so do you want to talk it out?
Yeah. One second. Let me open it up. Yeah. So I updated the pull request with the latest feedback.
Mm-hmm.
How I understood it. So updated it. There was only one suggestion you made about error budgets would be exhausted. Remaining error budget sent an average error budget. I was just not sure if that would be part of the burn rate condition kind, or would be, or they would be like separate ones. That was the only question I didn't how you say grasp.
For the last one, like the average burn rate is X.
Yeah.
So for that one, it is similar to error budget would be exhausted in X, where they're both kind of predictive, but where the average burn rate is X, if you have a little bit of a different runway with that, because you can say, like, if you that would be like in a spike. So like, and it may not necessarily affect the overall runway that you have, but if you are experiencing like a huge spike in the burn rate, you can alert on that if need be.
So like, yeah, okay.
So
like the first derivative, basically.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's like you can have an alert that says, like, alert me in, if my error budget is going to be exhausted in 5 days, but then if you experience a huge spike that would, exhaust it in 6 days, you can get a little bit of a different runway. So it's like, okay. it helps with like big, really spiky events.
Yeah. I was just wondering, so would that then like would it be like 3 different kinds of conditions you want to offer, or is it part of the burn rate and then just different attributes for that?
I would say it'd be separate. That's currently that's currently how we have it.
Okay, so it's like then you would have burn rate, like remaining error budget, average error budget, burn rate, and error budget.
Yeah, okay, so yeah. Error budget would be exhausted in X, remaining is X, and then average burn rate is X. Yeah.
Okay.
The other one that I didn't put in there that I've been wanting, yes. Actually, no, I did put it in there. Is the way that like CloudWatch handles them. We're currently not doing this, but it's one that I think we're going to try and start doing. But it's like how CloudWatch does the alarms, where you have small time frames in which you average out what the SLI is, and then you say how many time frames you want to evaluate, and then you say, I want, alert me if like 5 of these 10 exceed our threshold. So that way you can also account for spiky behavior if you want to kind of smooth it out without actually averaging. So like if you have a really spiky behavior, like this is a client actually had this problem where it's like they have known spiky behavior, but it's factored into what their overall SLO is, but they didn't want to get alerted on that all the time. So if you say like, so if you have like 10 timeframes within that you're evaluating and 4 of them exceed the threshold, you would not get alerted if you're fresh, or if you have it set at 5. If you alert on or if you have a 5th one that then does exceed your threshold, you would get alerted. And that can be any of those 5 within the 10. The math is a little weird, but like the link makes it a little more clear.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was the only thing that has to be written down. I was thinking the suggestion of merging these two into one. I think that is more like a task to do after we decided that we're happy with this alert policies definition, because I don't see any major things that could influence how we want to spec this bit out. If it's like a separate or not.
Oh, and the other part was the guard part of it.
Yeah. So I removed it for now because
the only reason why I was saying that is because I think that if we have it on the error target, that is our mechanism for what the action is. So we define what the policy is, and then the action is then whatever we want to define it in within that error target.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Anything else on that before?
Oh, sorry. No, nothing else. I think I just added some of the suggestions people added. I removed the control loopback window because I just didn't really know how it's supposed to work, and I felt like it's the same as alert after. At least the understanding I had, it seems to mimic the same as alert after.
Yeah.
Originally, I was thinking to shoehorn into like a window after the alerts have happened, that you could specify the basically the same as alert after, when like normalized, and so you could tell like, okay, it should stop alerting if it's normal for like 5 minutes or something. But I didn't know if there was something that would be useful or make sense.
I think just having any sort of mechanism that we can say that like after we return to normal, then like have a secondary call, just so we know when that normalizes. So I think that's like any sort of
for the normalizing, I think I did add something. Let's see. I need to see the raw file. Okay. So maybe I removed it at the last minute. Because when I was working on Markdown, it said normalize is not the English word, so I renamed it to something else, and now I don't know what it.
No, it's English
resolved. I called it resolved.
Okay.
At least the Markdown link tool was saying that it wasn't happy with the use of normalized. So in alert policy, you have now like this. I added this when keyword as a breach and resolved, and defines whether the alert is triggering when alert condition is breached or resolved. So we could alert also when it's back to normal.
I like that. Okay.
Probably So
no.
Read it
again. I'll take a look at it later. But yeah, that sounds good.
So then, I think that's That's it.
Okay. For the incremental encounter stuff that Rob was bringing up, I think, I mean, I'm not married to incremental. And then Craig, I don't know if did you see that conversation? Okay. Yeah, it was basically, we have incremental in the spec. It's meant for kind of counter, like in Prometheus, you have a counter type. So it'll report out like 2, 3. It's meant to be additive and an incremental, as opposed to like what they call in Prometheus, like a guard, where it's like, it can go up or down. It's a value that can fluctuate, and so Prometheus calls a counter. I don't care. I think I'm fine with calling a counter too, if that makes it a little bit clearer for people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't really mind. We could also have a look at how OpenTelemetry calls it. I think they have up-down counter for and can go up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the normal counter and couch. They have like 6 different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not 6. Sorry, 3 different ones. So they have counter, histogram, and couch. So
Yeah.
and then I think to reread it again. I think they were talking about also using monotonic for some things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure if it's in the API spec or in the data model. But I can have a look. But yeah, I don't think that, for me, it's not a big deal. Only thing when I was making the comment is like incremental. I suggest it can only go up and not like increase and not go down again. But yeah, because you can also have a value that always can go down. So it's not a value. I think the counter can. Yeah, if you see it as a counter, then it's correct. But if it's like what Rob was suggesting was monotonic, and monotonic can also be only going down. I think it's like only going down or only going up, but not up and down. I think that's the difference.
True. Okay.
But
yeah. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. Okay. I agree. Yeah. I'm sold on the counter myself. So yeah, we can do a PR for that.
So you want to rename it to a counter or to?
Well, yeah, that's what you're saying. Like, yeah, because counter is more in line with how it's monotonic, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, incremental is a little misleading in that respect.
Okay, yeah, I can make that change.
Cool. Okay, cool. Here, I'll add this as an action item.
Yeah.
Google Docs. I can do Docs. Okay. I should have been taking notes. I totally blanked on that.
Or asking for volunteers.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think where you said you were going to do that. Oh, you said volunteers for taking notes. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
I just realized I'm over here, having other separate plots, not actually taking notes, which would have been helpful.
Tonic. Okay. All right. Next one, labels and counters. I think, who was it that I forget who wanted us to talk about that. Which one was that? Iannis wanted us to talk about that. Yeah. he left his thoughts in the, sorry, I'm just gonna pull up his PR for the annotations. So, oh yeah, so what it looks like, I think that the idea that the annotations are more for machine ingestion, whatever, kind of designed for, the ingestion into the implementation. I think that makes sense, where labels are for categorization, searching, surfacing on the user level. Is that a fair way of stating it, Where?
Yeah, that's the idea I had. Like, so I was imagining how I would see it. It's like annotation is like, on the system level. You can imagine you could use annotations maybe to like add extra labels to like Prometheus metric that might get out of your SRO solution that is built on the spec. And then the labels is just like, if you want to visualize this in a web app, you can then use these labels to search by things. So you could in labels, you could add like team, for example, or like all the extra data you want to, like text. So you could then like tag thing by category, and then in the solution that use the OpenSLO files can then just offer like a search feature, and then you can search by those things. A bit like how in GitLab you can search by labels and things like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think this out, because the annotations are very similar, but I think because like the way that like AWS does it is that we have both user level labels and then also machine readable labels, although they use tags, are one and the same. So you might have something that shows like like in EKS, like they have something for like what node this is, or what cluster you're associating this resource with, as well as kind of user level tags of like cost center and things like that. So my only concern with this is that we're creating two separate categories where they can be just one.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Yeah. With that prefixing, I guess you could prefix your custom. Yeah, like your text, you could introduce like an OpenSLO.com/text for like some cost center, like some standard properties in annotations that then could be used for that.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of want to talk. I'm curious to get some more feedback on this one. I think because before we do them both, I think I want to talk. I want to sit and think about having them as one.
Yeah. I think it would be a good idea to then, if you would have those two, some real examples from when you would use which one. Then you can decide if it makes sense to have two, or maybe can we use one and like collapse them together.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll put a comment in the annotations PR about this, and then also I think link the two.
Yeah.
Just so we can continue the discussion, I think, in the tickets, and maybe also bring the discussion into the OpenSLO Slack channel so we can discuss this more with like, I mean, hopefully the broader group.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because yeah, I'm really torn because I think so on the one hand, I like the kind of separation of annotations as just being the machine readable ones. We don't have to worry about those. We can totally ignore those for the sake of, you know, anything in the user space. Labels being everything else in the user space that gets surfaced for that. But then it can also get kind of confusing as to like maybe what, you know, maybe like where something would go.
Yeah, yeah. Then you probably need to like spec it out really well, like which cases fall into which one.
Yeah.
To not confuse people. So yeah, I think it's That's why I was suggesting to make a list of what would examples of what you would put where, and can maybe see if it even makes sense to add them or not.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So I'll add that, and I'll also update the doc with our notes here. Did you have any more thoughts on that? Where?
On this, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think actually that's the end of the agenda. Did you? Are you going to say something?
Yeah, sorry. I also updated the bad threshold metric, added the description.
Okay.
The mathematics, like was discussed in the.
Cool.
So I used the example of like this. You have the bad total one, and it would basically should give the same result as you would expect from a good total. So what would be like the example you give, like you have one failed one and you have total 100 requests, it should also be like 0.99, similar to the opposite example from 99 good ones against 100. So yeah.
Okay, cool. That's perfect. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
All right.
Yeah. That was it, I think. The after that ongoing. I don't know if you want to discuss issues or something.
I'm going to stop recording since we're done with the meeting, and you and I can chat for a sec.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.